Hi, everybody. So I missed you last week. And first off, I just want to say thanks so much. I'm recovering, so I'm a little bit loopy. But that being said, I want y'all to know that thank you so much for all the beautiful emails you've been sending me and DMs and all the beautiful get well messages. So I really appreciate that. That being said, I had really hardcore dental surgery. So I want to get a little feedback on my audio. I have to keep the mic close to my mouth because I had some really hardcore surgery. And I mean, I'm not going to have an ego here. I have like missing four bottom teeth. It's hilarious. And so, but it's a little bit much. And I've had to sort of relax and keep myself quiet. And I haven't been able to speak for a whole week, which has been, I guess, a little bit difficult for me because y'all know I love to talk. So that being said, I'm healing great. I just want you to know that my doctor said everything is going well. And one of the things that I think is very important that people forget is listening to the doctor's orders. And I couldn't. It's so hard for me to stay in bed for a whole week, which I pretty much did. I mean, I had serious surgery. It was not funny, even though I'm laughing. It was like I was like, oh my god. But that being said, if you listen to the doctor and you follow all the instructions and you do the things that you're supposed to be doing, you'll heal quick. And again, don't forget, I'm 61 years old. I'm very happy to be 61 years old. But what happens, I think, when you start to get a little bit older is, things start to happen that you might not have expected. And that being said, I didn't take care of myself as a young person. I did a lot of abuse to my body. I was doing crack cocaine. I was doing methamphetamines. I was smoking a lot of weed. I was drinking a crap load of alcohol. I was just abusing myself. So I think eventually that does catch up with you, even though I've 30 years of no drugs and alcohol. I took care of myself, but things catch up. And one of the things I did catch up was I got gum disease, and that also could be hereditary, just so you know. But it's not like I didn't brush my teeth or I have hygiene. I do have that, but some of these things can just catch up with you. So here's what I want to say to you before we move on to this important discussion: is go to the dentist. Seriously, go to the dentist, friends. Take care of your body because it's the only body you have. And I remember when I was younger, I always used to think like, I don't care. I'm going to wear these earphones and I'm going to just blast the music. And now I have a hard time hearing things. And I remember my mom would say, don't blast the earphones. And I'd be like, huh? And now I'm doing, huh? I'm doing that stuff. So I just want to reach out to all you youngsters out there. Know that your body will take it will take its toll on your body when you abuse it. And you have the opportunity right now. Don't be scared, friend. You have the opportunity to not have these things. Go to the dentist every 3 months if you can and get your teeth cleaned. During COVID, I didn't do that, and it catches up with you. So anyway, that's just what I want to start with. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to last an hour today. The recovery's been a bit much for me, and I still feel a little bit out of it. But I felt the need to come here, and I felt the need to just tell y'all I miss you and I appreciate you a lot. And we can't do this alone. It's so important that we learn to have these discussions, and I think it's really important that we start to speak out against what's happening. And a lot of what I see happening from the transgender, what I activism, is quite shocking to me as an elder in this community and somebody who does not align with those people. And I don't know who those people are. I don't know who these trans activists are. And I don't know who these people who are speaking for me as a transsexual are. I do not align with them, and I do not feel comfortable with what they're saying out there. And I do not want people to think that we all feel that way. And I do not want people to think that all trans people want to transition children and all trans people have an agenda, because I have no agenda. I've never had an agenda. I have what I believe is a life that has been given to me and that I appreciate and that I want. And here's I think what I'm trying to say. I'm getting emotional because the reason I get emotional is because we have fought to get here. and we do have a lot. And we do have so many things that many people in the rest of this world don't have. And I think many young people in this community now are missing that. They're missing what we have. And for some reason, they just think we don't have anything, or they're being taught to be angry and disconnected from whatever trans is now. Because where I come from, trans is not an identity. Trans is an actual disorder that I wish I didn't have. I do not have trans joy. I do not have queer joy. What I have is a disorder that set me back a lot in my life. And I missed out on many things as a young person because I didn't get the mental health care that I needed. And today, the mental health care for trans people is so whack. And it's not helping these kids. It's not helping them. It's hurting them. And I'm going to tell you that over and over. They are not being helped, these kids. They are being hurt, and they are being told something that is a lie. And that is why I step up. And that is why I don't care if the community dislikes me. And I don't care if I have quote unquote enemies within the LGBT community, or they look at me like, anyway, I feel like I'm rambling. And so I just want you to know that I'm here because I care, and not because I need a million followers, and not because I need for me to hear myself talk. I need to step up as a person who has been helped by transition, and a person who has moved forward in my life because of transition, and a person who believes in transition for adults who can make this life-changing, irreversible choice. And so when I start to see something out there that says there is a trans genocide, I don't know how you all feel about that, but that's shocking to me. And that is so irresponsible. It is gaslighting. It is anti LGBT, and it's anti trans on so many levels because you're lying. And when you start to make up statistics and you start to make up these terms in order to get people to side with you, you are building a false foundation. And that false foundation, like I always say to you every week, will crash. And it's not okay with me because I don't need to lie about me being trans. I don't need to lie about my disorder. I don't need to lie about why I transitioned. I don't need to lie that transitioning isn't a very important part of my life. I wouldn't be here, I don't think. I mean, I don't know if I would be dead, but I think I might not be as productive of a citizen. And that's what I want you to hear out there. The people who are opposing me, or the people who think that I'm anti-trans, which is incredibly ridiculous, I need you to hear me. I don't agree with you. It doesn't mean I hate you. It means I don't agree with you. And if you cannot handle another trans person or a transsexual person having an opposing opinion to you as a trans person, you, my friend, need to get something help, some kind of something, because you're missing the point. If you think our whole community has ever agreed with each other, you haven't been part of this community. We have never agreed with each other, but we have never, and I'm telling you, in the 31 years of transition, I have never seen the amount of hate towards each other that I see now. The division, the LGBT wants to literally separate from the T. That should mean something to all of you. It means something to me. Without my gay male friends in my early transition, I don't think I would have made it. I had only gay male friends help me get to this space. I'm not turning my back on them. No way, shape, or form. And I wouldn't, even if they didn't help me. They are the leaders of this community. The lesbians and the gays are the leaders of this community. They are the ones who helped us get to our space today. And for you people to turn on them as if they are against trans people is so absurd. We as trans people need to stand up for our lesbian and gay and bisexual brothers and sisters. How dare they try to separate us? Don't you see that's what they're doing? They're trying to create a division, and they're trying to say that we are different than they are. Guess what, my friends? First off, I'm a biological female. Secondly, I actually identified as a gay woman for many years of my life. And then I actually identified as a gay man for a while. And now I'm back to bisexual. So I will not disconnect from LGB. That is a huge part of my life. I still identify in that part of my sexuality. I'm a bisexual person, and half my friends are gay men. So I want you to really think about that today. I want you to think about, why do they want to divide us? Why is the trans community rewriting our history? Why is the trans community so obsessed with telling us that trans people were in the forefront of our rights? No, they were not. They were not around. There are very few of them. I was there. You can't argue that. There are elders in our community who are speaking out about it. You can't rewrite our history to make it look like you are better than them. Nobody in this community is better than anybody. That's what community is about. It's about helping each other. It's about moving. You're losing a huge allyship with the LGB. As much as you continue to push on those people and their own way of being and expecting them to take on your way of being, you are dividing and losing allyship. I won't be a part of that. If I have to align with the LGB, I will do it. And I will not align with the T, because it doesn't align with me. I'll align with my sexuality before I will ever align with somebody who thinks because I'm trans, I have to speak a certain way. This is what I want you all to see from me. I'm not scared of anybody. I'm not scared of being canceled. I'm not scared of being called names. I'm not scared. In fact, you light fires under my butt, and you make me more want to speak out against you. And that's what you need to see. And I'm not the only one. You all know it. Blaire White's been doing this forever. Thank God for her. She is a hero. Whether you want to believe it or not, Blaire White is a hero of this community. And you'll all see it. Mark my words. It'll come around where you'll all start saying, wow, all of you people who spoke nasty, nasty things about her. Hi, Karina. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for that. I do appreciate it. Don't worry. The majority of heterosexual people have detached you genuine trans, gay, bi, and lesbians from the loonies. For reals, my friend. May the God bless you and keep you safe. Thank you, friend. I love you back. It means a lot to me. And that's what I also want you all to see there. You see that? I have a huge allyship. Thanks for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Thanks, Karina. I have a huge straight. I am not using that word cisgender. I'm not. I don't care. You can all use it all you want. I'm not using it. Don't you dare force me to use some speech that makes you feel. You all use it as a slur. Whether it is a slur or not, y'all use it as a slur. I see it. Y'all go sissy, cis scum, cis, and then you act like what? What? I don't know what the problem is. We're just saying blah, blah, blah. No, you're not. You're literally using it as a slur. And so I want, again, nope, not the way I live my life. I don't live my life like that. And let me just remind you all, what does it mean to transition? I mean, I guess we all have different ways of being. And I guess we all want to transition for different reasons. But all I know is this. For me, buckangel, a transsexual man who transitioned 30 years ago because I could no longer deal with walking the world in my female body, and I chose to take testosterone, and I chose to remove my breasts, and I chose to present and grow a beard and grow muscles and work out and be very masculine because it makes me feel better. I do not use it as a weapon. I do not expect any of you to okay me. I don't need, that's not why I did it. I did it because it makes me feel better about the world. And then the world just sees me as Buck. They don't see me as a trans person. Outside of this bubble we are here, I walk the world, friends. I go all over the place. No one ever says anything but, hey, dude, hey, never, the toilet, all of it, gym, every space that I walk. Hey, dude, that's transition for me. It wasn't so that I needed to use it against you or to feel a victimization about it or to show you how brave I am. I'm not brave. I am not brave. And in no way, shape, or form am I brave for transitioning. It was a situation that I took hold of, like sobriety. I took hold of my problems with alcohol and drugs. Me, not you. Did I blame you? Nope. Did I blame the world? Nope. I blame myself for letting those drugs and alcohol get a hold of me. I think you're all missing the point here. Transition is to help you get out of a rut that you don't like. It's called gender dysphoria. It's supposed to help you move forward. It's not supposed to hold you down. It's not supposed to trap you. It's not supposed to make you feel like a victim. It's not supposed to make you use it as a weapon towards the rest of the world so that they bow down and kiss your boots. It's ridiculous behavior. So I don't understand this trans genocide. Do any of you know the definition of genocide? And I'd appreciate it if one of you people go and just get the definition and put it in the chat for me. Genocide is a very, very dangerous word to just throw around. Like Nazi, like bigot, like transphobe, like, I would say genocide alongside of Nazi, mass murder. There you go. Thanks, Megs. But I would like to see the actual definition in the dictionary or wherever, but I think it has something to do with basically the idea to slaughter people who have opposing ways of being. Here we go. Thank you, CJ. Genocide, plural. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry, I lost it. It keeps moving. You guys are texting so fast. Hold on here. Thanks, CJ. Genocide, plural noun, genocide, the deliberate killing of a large number of people from a particular nation or ethnic group with the aim of destroying that nation or group. Now, with that, can somebody show me statistics on the deaths of trans people? Let's just say in the last 5 years, okay? Or even 10. Give me 10. Does anybody have the statistics on the deaths of trans people from opposing people who do not like them? Because that's basically what they're saying. Where is it? Love to see it. So if anyone could do that for me, I would appreciate that as well. I like participation. We participate here, which is really great. Thank you. So I want to know why these people in the transgender community, here we go. well, me and you agree, Al, you know that. So there isn't, and I'm not laughing at the word genocide. I'm laughing at the absurdity, the gaslighting, the desire to make people think that if they don't fall in line with the trans space, they are creating genocide. That is wrong. Thank you, Marianne. Hi, nice to see you, my friend. Okay, here we go. There you go. 38 trans deaths in the year of 2022. So I'd like for all of you to know that's not a genocide. That's sad, but we also need to understand why were some of these people killed. Was it an accident? Was it domestic abuse? Was it, I don't know, could be many things, right? Could be trans hate, but I will almost doubt that all 38 of these trans deaths were created because of genocide and because of hate. We all know that there's been some domestic violent cases in our community. It's been there forever. Okay, so that being said, here, wait, let me see this. Hey, Aurora, thank you. The definition used to include sterilization and still does in certain definition, which is why the CCP's mass sterilization of the, yes, should be considered genocide. So you're right. I will totally agree with that, right? So are they sterilizing kids right now? Yeah. Who's doing it? Who's sterilizing the kids? I'd like to know. I'd like to know who's sterilizing the kids. Do we all know who's sterilizing the kids? Who's agreeing to get kids transitioned? Is it people who are opposing trans, Or is it the actual trans community who are actually sterilizing children? So is the trans community creating a genocide on its own self? Hold on to that thought for me. Hi, Jen. Buck, least we can take, and thanks, Jen, I appreciate you. We can take some solace for now in the fact that the TRAs are not using yes, decimation. Yeah, because it feels like that would be the next move. Oh, I wouldn't put it past them. They're struggling now, right? They're struggling to keep their narrative afloat, but we're all catching on to this nonsense. And we're all starting to speak out. Not just me, you know that. We all are. You join me here. That means you're speaking out. And that's why I always appreciate you showing up, because we as a group and as what I believe as a community, I believe you are my community. They're not my community. You're my community. Because I believe in a community of love. I believe in a community of education and dialogue and different opinions and all of the things that community is supposed to be. Diversity. We are a very diverse crowd here. I will almost bet that I probably have one from each sort of category, if that makes sense. That's diversity. I don't want to leave out straight people. What is this idea that straight people are so bad? It's very bizarre to me. I mean, my gosh, a lot of my friends are straight people and they actually really support me. Hey, Melissa, thank you, my friend. Buck, I remember when it was just LGBT. I actually do too. When I was 25, now 61, we're the same age, friend. Transition. Gay men were some of my best allies. My help has been, that's right. You know that? There you go. There's somebody else saying the same thing that I'm saying. I will not turn my back on my LGBT brothers and sisters. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. I keep telling you that. Gay men were the only support system I had. Lesbians didn't like me, and I get it. And bisexual was never really kind of like a big thing then. But gay men, they helped me go to the gym. They taught me how to work out. They helped me build my body the way I wanted it to look. Without them, I wouldn't have understood all of that. You know, I got to hang out in gay male clubs and dance and just have such an amazing experience growing up as a young trans man. And not with other trans men, with gay men. So, you know, I think it's really dangerous when we start as I need to stop saying we, because I don't relate to the trans community right now. When they start to use the word genocide as if it's just a thing that's happening. No, it is not. It's not happening. Now, with that, they're saying anti-trans laws, right? Anti. I have to take some notes here. Anti-trans laws. Do you believe there are anti-trans laws in effect the way they are going? Now, I'm going to say this. These laws that are going into effect are for youth. They're to stop young people from making a mistake that is irreversible. Would you consider that anti-trans, or would you consider that safe-keeping laws? Would you consider those laws to help young people find themselves and not make a wrong turn? I would. I don't consider them anti-trans laws. I consider them laws that need to be put in effect because you all went Wild West on the kids. You all went rogue. And you started writing letters for these kids for $150 with no therapy. That's fraud and malpractice, by the way. We see you. Don't think we're not taking notes here. We know every single one of you therapists who are so brazen to put on the internet that you will write the letter that says you are trans with zero mental health care, just $150. You sickos. You're sick and you should never be ever practicing therapy under the guise of a therapist. That is insane. And that's what's happening, friends. That's why anti-laws are being put in effect. You can call them all you want, but we all saw it coming. When you start messing with the kids, we're going to push back on you. A lot of us in this community are disgusted by what is going on with this transitioning of young people before they can even think for themselves. I bet half of you don't even have kids. Half of you don't even understand on a daily basis what a kid does, how they think, where they go. I do. And I have kids in my house all day long playing here, just so you know. These kids aren't trans. I have a kid that comes to my house who said he was non binary. He's 9 years old. So I pushed back on him. I said, "What do you mean you're non binary? What does that even mean? Can you explain? Because I don't understand." I acted like I didn't understand. He's like, I just don't feel like a boy or a girl. I said, "Oh, that's called androgynous." He's like, "What?" I go, "No, no, no, that's non binary because my friend, do you know what binary means?" And I'm talking to a 9-year-old, by the way. And he's like, I said, binary is like male, female. That's what you are. You're a male, okay? You were born a boy, a male, but you don't believe that you feel that way. And that's okay. That's totally okay that you don't feel that way, but you are. But it's okay not to sort of be that. You could be whatever you want, my friend, but you're always going to be a boy. So you feel like this. And androgyny means you just sort of fit in this flowing space. So, maybe you should call yourself androgynous and not non binary because you're still in the binary, kiddo. Male and female is the binary. If you're saying non binary, then you're saying that you're not male or female, but that's not true. And he's just looking at me, and I'm thinking I'm lecturing a 9-year-old about being non binary. Hey, Marianne, thank you, friend. I remember growing up and LGBT just wanted to be treated with dignity and respect. Now that, no, you don't think the LGBT is just mortified. And I don't blame them. I do not blame the LGBT community for wanting to actually disconnect from us. I support it. I support LGBT Alliance. I do. So here, yeah, Philly girl. I see this, Philly girl. The adults that are pushing this on kids are really making life so much. You can't, and the thing that upsets me, Philly girl, is this. A lot of these people aren't even parents. A lot of these people aren't even trans. A lot of these people don't even know what gender dysphoria is. And they're pushing some kind of agenda. You cannot change sex. People, stop. When you say that to a child, you are lying. You are 100% lying to that child. I won't be a part of that. What happens when that child grows up and really all of a sudden starts to say, I don't feel right. Something isn't right. You transition. So here, let me give you this little example. You transition this child at 9 or 10. Well, let's just even say 13. And all of a sudden, this child gets to be 26. Okay. Well, let's give him 23. Let's give him 10 years. And all of a sudden, the child starts to, now it's an adult. I don't feel right. Something doesn't feel right. Like I feel more like this other way. You can't change sex, people. Keep that in your brain while I'm telling you this. And they're starting to sort of question. Their parents never told them that they transitioned them because many of these parents aren't telling them that. You know that. And so now the kid's 23 and starts to feel like, well, maybe they really were. Like, why do I feel like a girl and not a boy now? Why am I having weird feelings about my gender, about myself? That's what's going to happen. I guarantee effing. It just makes me so mad. So then what happens when this 23-year-old decides that they want to go back to living as a girl? No one told them that they were born a girl. And now they're having all these weird feelings and mental problems around it. If you don't know the story of John Money, please look it up. If you don't know the story of disgusting John Hopkins, please look it up. If you don't know the story of the twins, I think they're the Reimer, Reimer twins, just look it up. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the saddest story of a young boy, who was transitioned to live as a young girl, and their parents never told them from a botched surgery. In a nutshell, John Money decided he wanted to use this kid to say, hey, look, let's go nurture versus nature. He said, if we decide we can make him into a girl, he'll never know. And we can nurture him to be a girl. And all you have to do is tell him he's a girl, dress him as a girl, tell him he's a girl, blah, blah, blah. And he'll grow up as a girl and he'll never know. Not true. Grew up, always knew something was wrong, became a raging alcoholic. Parents never ever told him they did this to him. Started to say, I feel like a boy. I don't feel like a girl. Something's wrong. What? I'm not kidding you guys. You need to look at that story if you don't know it, because it really can lay almost directly on what is happening today with these young kids. I'm halfway through Dr. Deborah So's book. Excellent, my friend. I'm actually part of that book. All of my thoughts in writing. You, Blair, Ariel have inspired me. Oh, God, that's all we care about, friend. Maria, that's all we care about. That's it. The more of us who start to come together, and it's about the kids, my friends. I don't care what any adult does. You all know that about me. I don't care. I care about you, but I do not care about the choices you make. That's why I live in a country of choice. That's why when you start to tell me I can't say anything, go jump in a lake, buddy, because I'll say whatever the heck I want, and you will never stop me. Thank you, friend. I do appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you tipping me and giving me these. It does help me. So I do want to thank you for that. Really, suicide is on the rise. 700,000 suicides last year globally. Yeah, I think I just read this in an article. 38 of them were from the U.S. identified as trans. Okay, everybody read this. Take a screenshot. Take a screenshot. If anybody needs this to sort of push back on the nonsense, take a screenshot right now, because this is a really great statistic here. 38 of them were from the United States, identified as trans. 38 out of 700,000. What's that percentage, by the way? I'm not a mathematician. The real truth here is rates have doubled from 2008 to 2018. Yep, that's right. Conceding the rise of social media, 100%, buddy. 100%. And thank you. I do appreciate that very much. No. It's no doubt about social media. We all know that. It's very influential to these young people. I also believe social media is a form of brainwashing. And I believe a lot of the things that are happening today are intentional, and intentional through possibly our government. I don't want to start sounding like a conspiracy person, but, I do believe that there's something going on that is very scary to me, and that, I would believe on some level, maybe our government is involved, for sure, big pharma, all the money people, right? Because we've become a commodity. We've become money. Just look at Pride. We all know that. It's insane. It's insane. Hi, Mary. Thanks, Mary. This new California bill has me panicked, Buck. Yep. Okay. So do y'all know, is it SB2 or is it SB1 something? Does anybody know that what's the number for the California bill? Does anyone know that? Oh my God. So if you don't know about the California bill, let me just, my mouth is starting to hurt here a little bit. So let me just take a little tea. 1 second here. Let me take a breather. I haven't spoken this much since my surgery, so it's a bit intense. I bought my dad one of these cups for Father's Day. He drinks his coffee in it. So SB1, what is it? Does anybody know the number of the bill here in California? If you don't, that's all right. But look it up. So this new bill just passed. It's very scary, Mary. The new bill that just passed is called gender affirming, which is all a bunch of crap, and that's all word mumbo jumbo to get people mixed up in their brain. But here we go. Basically, the law says if you don't affirm your child, the state will take your kid away for child abuse. What? Do you understand how insane that is? Child abuse? What child abuse? It's child abuse to transition your child. How dare you force me to transition my child? Okay, thank you, Carol. Thank you, Carol. I do appreciate that. It's AB 957. Scary stuff. I live in California. I actually live in Los Angeles, and I'm very scared. I'm very scared because, now if my child comes home, my 10-year-old son, and says, "Hey, Dad, I'm trans," I'm like, "No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not." Because that's what I'm going to say. "No, you're not." And then we're going to go to therapy as a family, and we're going to talk about what it means to be trans. So, "No, you're not." So that puts me in jail. Can you imagine me, a transsexual man, who's telling my son, "I don't believe you're trans, dude, because you've never showed any signs, ever. And now you come home from school one day and you tell me you're trans. No, no, I'm not going to affirm you. That's not my job. My job as a parent is to say no. I don't know. I don't know. Parenting has become a nightmare for some of you. I grew up in a no home. No, get out and cut the lawn. No, go pick up the dog poop. No, take out the trash. No, get a job. You want some new clothes? Get a job, dude. I mean, that's the way it should be. But now all you parents are yes, 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 yes. No, there's a word called no. And then that's just the way I parent. And that's just my opinion. If you want to be a yes parent, you go right ahead. But I'm pretty sure you're going to run into a lot of problems with that. My partner is more of a yes man than me. So we do kind of, have this pushback on each other. And I'm like, no. She's like, well, when I was a kid, I didn't get the thing. I don't care. What are you talking about? So that adds some sort of, on some level, I believe that levels out the playing field in our home, because I'm saying no and mom is saying yeah. But so what? What are you going to do, dude? Like, that's how it is. I just feel like a law like telling a parent they have to affirm their child is sick, and it's taking away parental rights. Whether you see that or not, it is. And is that Marxist? Well, I think it's kind of in the Marxist space. So, hey, Darcy, thank you, friend. What I'm concerned about for the kids is that many mental illnesses become apparent as a teenager. That's right. That's when a lot of my mental health problems started. I see these kids being drawn into the trans ideology instead of confronting the real issue. No, no, no. Darcy, you're straight up, my friend. That's how I feel. I got mental health care as a child. I was going through a lot. My mental health stuff didn't start until I was maybe most of it started around 16. Okay. And I really had a lot of mental health problems. I'll be honest here. I don't even like to talk about it anymore because I just kind of feel like it's being sort of used in this way. Is the word weaponized? But I was a cutter at 16 that was in the 70s, right? I was a cutter. I did become an alcoholic. I was withdrawn from everybody. I was a loner kind of kid. I sat at school. I'll never forget. I got transferred to another school because I was actually physically fighting when I was in one of these school in my high school, and I was just becoming totally just an angry young person and fighting a lot, actually physically. So I got kicked out of my high school, and I had to go to a different high school. And for somebody like me was very shy and not necessarily connected to myself, it was so incredibly traumatizing for me. Honestly, it still traumatizes me when I think about it. I had to take an actual city bus and go an hour away every day to school and an hour back. But anyway, my point was going to be that when I got to this new school, I was not happy, and I started to regress, and I started to become less sort of able to be in the public. And I remember, this is actually something that does actually make me a little emotional, because it was painful. It was so painful to not be able to be around other kids and to be a different person, because I was a different kind of kid. I wasn't like everybody else. And I was an incredibly high ranking athlete. That was the only thing that kind of kept me going, was athletics. But that over here, I remember I didn't have any friends in high school. And when I got to that school, I was so scared because I didn't know how to interact with people, and I didn't know how to make friends. And, I remember I would look for places where I didn't have to be around people. So I would find, what I mean by that is I get my lunch and I would just head as fast as I could away from the crowds and the lunch place. You know how it is in lunchtime and recess, and everyone's hanging out with everybody. And I would just beeline for the farthest place I could find, hiding from everybody else in a space where I was all alone. And I found a space between the two buildings, classrooms, and a bench. And I would eat lunch there every day by myself for pretty much most of the rest of my first semester of high school, because I felt more comfortable being alone, and I isolated myself. And that's when my alcoholism really started to rise. But that being said, I made it. Here I am. I made it. It's traumatizing, but did those trauma incidents make me a better person? Did they make me have more empathy towards you? Did it make me understand the struggle of life for everyone, not just me and not just trans people, but for everyone? So I think it's very important that we understand it's not only trans kids who struggle, kids struggle with lots of mental health issues and more today than ever. And we are immediately pushing these kids to affirm gender, which is complete insanity. You're not helping these kids, by the way. You're hurting these kids. I was one of those kids. The bill pertains to family court for parenting and fighting for custody. Unbelievable. Could you imagine? Have you guys all watched that movie on Netflix called, what is it? Take Care of Maya? Is that the name of the movie? It's on Netflix. Oh, I watched it twice and cried both times. Oh, my mouth. Both times I watched it. It was horrifying. Horrifying. Watch the movie. Watch the movie. It's actually quite fascinating. Our system. I think you should watch it in a sense of, if you're a parent, you should most definitely watch it. And also, I want you to watch it because I want you to see how insane our healthcare system is and how insane the laws in this country are around parents and kids. And, if we don't start to speak up as parents, they're going to take our kids away from us. And I'm not cool with that. I'm not cool with that. Oh, hey, Jen. Oh, I have a new friend here. She's super cool. So Jen has a really awesome channel. If you want to check her out, please do. But her and I have some different opinions about things, for sure. There's no doubt about it. Doesn't mean we aren't friends. So I just really like you, Jen. I think you're so awesome, and I love how you speak out for women. And you're just the kind of powerful woman that really just makes me so happy, and why I also fight for the rights of women. So never shut up, Jen. I don't think you will. I don't think you're that type of person. But I just want everybody to know that people like her and I can literally across. We're on different probably sides of the spectrum on some level, but here we are, total buddies, hanging out. Like, we're gonna meet each other sometime and have coffee, and that's what I want y'all to see. That's how you create a better world. You create a better world by having conversation with the people you might oppose, right? Or the people that you might not agree with politically, you might not agree with on whatever level it is. But that's the cool thing about a person like her. She's willing to have the conversation with me instead of shutting me down and calling me a bigot. Oh, thanks, Sage. I appreciate you, my friend. In addition to protecting kids, thank you for all you're doing to protect women. Oh, man, I could tell you about that right now. My love and respect. Oh, thank you, friend. Yeah, we love you back. I'll speak for them. We love you back. So that being said, I will never, anyone who's listening to this right now, who's here because you dislike me, I'm going to let you know this. Never back you down when it comes to women, women's sports, women's spaces, biology, what that means. You can never forget that I am a biological female forever and ever. This shit right here it's nothing. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. An illusion I need to walk the world, but it's a costume, an illusion, a way of being, whatever you want to call it. I'm still a biological female. And I lived as a biological female for pretty much half my life. 30 years of my life, I lived in that. And 30 years of my life, I lived as a man. So I'm a guy who's lived half as a woman in the world and half as a man in the world. There's not very many people who could tell you that, just so you know. I have a different perspective in life, okay? Because I have that I have it. I have that actual lived experience. Thank you, friend. I can prep too. I tend to think continued therapy and supports for young people is the answer, but, and this is a big but, how can they be properly treated when physicians and therapists? Yes, thank you. Everything you said right here, I think probably we all agree with you. I do. You can't not assess a child. You think a 10-year-old knows who they are? You're out of your effing mind, dude. You're out of your mind, doctors. I'm talking to you doctors and you therapists and you whack jobs who are just like, oh, yeah, every kid knows who they are. They don't know who they are. I'm telling you, I've lived experience. The dude changes his mind every day. What kind of haircut, what he wants to wear, what toy he wants to play. Don't you dare tell me a child knows themselves. They might think that, as I did. They might want that, as I did. My parents never would have done that. And they told me that. They would have never, because my parents thought I would grow out of it, which is what you should think. And here's the deal, friends. It is not trans joy. It is not fun to be trans. It is not a lifestyle I wish on anyone. You have to continually take hormones for the rest of your life. You have to do surgeries. You have to do all of these every day. If you think it's just like a matter of medicine and you're done, you're kidding, and you're abusing your child, lying to them about that. It is a lifelong commitment. And why are you choosing that for somebody? A lifelong commitment. Shouldn't you want them to grow out of the dysphoria? Shouldn't you want them to actually just live in their biology? Why wouldn't you want somebody to live in their biology? I wish to God I was born a dude. I would change this space in a heartbeat. But the universe gave me these cards, and I'm using them in a way that has helped me walk the world. I'm not sitting here asking you for anything. I'm not asking you to feel sorry for me, to be, oh, poor Buck. Nope, nope, nope. I fixed it, moved on. Here I am, walk the world. Everything's good. But damn, if you want that to be for a child, you're out of your mind. And that's total child abuse. Thank you, Jan. I appreciate you. Buck, I don't know if you and your family have ever seen the film V for Vendetta or if you have real the graphic. So I'll tell you something real quick, and y'all can go Google that. But I was married to a very famous dominatrix. I'm sure y'all know the story. Come on, y'all know the Matrix story. Go look it up, and then ask me again about that title. I tend to, yeah. Thank you, Fred. I appreciate that. I'm moving down the road here. So what? Marmello. Thank you, friend. What is your opinion on the intentions behind politicians supporting trans kids and affirming therapy? Is it only for LGBT voters or to appease the both? Both, 100%. First off, it's all rhetoric. We've become a political pawn. It's rhetoric. Why are we discussing this in a politics? I'm not a political pawn. I'm not politics. I have a mental disorder called gender dysphoria. I've fought for trans health rights for the last 20, 30 years. I've helped to change some laws around. I've helped to get insurance companies to pay for us. Not because what I see today. Now I wish to God I never did it. I believe there's an agenda, and I believe that the government doing that nonsense at the White House, what other group of people? And that someone brought something to my attention the other day. They're like, dude, they don't even do that for vets. I'm like, this country and vets. By the way, my sister is a vet. My nephew is in the Marine Corps. My sister was in a police department for 25 years. I mean, I have attachment to that. You know, service to our country is a big deal, and you all don't respect that. I'm not saying you, but you all out there. How dare you? We have homeless vets. What? Yet here you are, like champion for you got your values twisted, friend. You know, we can't be having homeless vets. It's disgusting and it's wrong. And I believe there's money in transition. There's no doubt about it. I've seen it. I've read it. I've read reports. I've read financial reports. I've read if you invest in trans surgeries, it's going to be a $5 billion industry. Look it up. Look it up. But we're living in the reality where our government, even our fellow voters in California, have actively affirmed our government. Yeah, I know. Guess why? I live in California. Very liberal here and very stupid. And I'm a liberal, but I would say I'm a more classical liberal. I think I probably have a little bit more conservative stuff going on now than I ever did before. But I think that comes with age and sort of this idea of seeing things. I look at every angle. I don't just watch one thing. I look at everything. And so I think what's happening is that people think they're doing the right thing. And I'm going to give that to people. I do think people think they're doing the right thing. And I think people think what they're hearing from the activists is real instead of listening to people like me. If you look at my channel, right, how many followers are on my, or whatever subscriptions on my channel compared to a couple of those wingnut trans activists who have millions of followers. So they're reaching a larger audience than people like me. But with your help, we're raising this trajectory, and we're raising voices like myself and Blaire. And, you know, Blaire already has a really great platform, and she's doing a lot of great work that we're all kind of following her on, which is really amazing. Yep. So I just want to say one thing, and I'm going to have to. Oh, thanks, Jen. You're so sweet. Thank you, friend. Kids who want to transition should be required to talk to someone who's. Yeah, that's right. I really appreciate that. I've amassed a large group of young people, and they reach out to me now, and they're like, "Thank you, Buck. I almost transitioned. I mean, I actually did cry. That one made me cry. I almost transitioned, but I started to listen to you, and I started to see what being transsexual really is, and this is why I have reclaimed the word transsexual, and I remove myself from the transgender space and more towards the medicalized, and that I do affirm that I have a mental disorder, and I do affirm that this is something an adult should do, and that you should wait, and that you should go to lots of therapy, and that you should want to grow out of your dysphoria. You should not want to grow into your dysphoria. And I believe what's happening now is they're telling these kids that you must grow into your dysphoria, and you should not be ashamed to be. But that's not the message you should be giving these kids. You should be giving these kids some love and some actual room to grow and to sort of figure out what's going on with themselves. But thank you, Jen. I appreciate that so much. And thanks you guys for all the tips and everything. It really means a lot to me. What do you think about them trying to create a genderless society like Mao did? Oh gosh, totally. I know I went down the rabbit hole too. Oh my god, I wanted to show you this book I'm reading. I'll bring it on next time. People are sending me all these amazing, crazy books to read. You can go down a rabbit hole. I do it, and I'm like, and then my partner's all, dude, you're acting insane right now. Like, I know I sound like conspiracy theorist, but no, 100%. I do think on some level that's happening, but watch out, people. Don't get too deep into that hole. Let's stay focused on the kids right now. Let's stay focused on one thing at a time, and then we can start to attack this nonsense. But I think right now the kids are the 100% most important thing that you and I do in our meetings here when we come together and when we speak out on the internet. I think the kids should be our only focus at this point. Thank you, Mr. My sister's husband transitioned last year. My sister's husband, okay, it's to a female then, right? My 5-year-old niece, since new mom's transition, has come home from other mom and says she is, there you go, 5 years old. They are now getting divorced, but live in California and face it. Yep. Wow. 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 I'm going to have an interview with somebody like this soon, because you need to start hearing those stories. And so I think that they're calling those trans widows. There's a whole like website about women who married men and have been in a relationship, and all of a sudden now the man decided they're trans with no mental health care, just self ID, and bailing on their whole family. You know, it's a hard thing to talk about, I think, because I don't know, maybe they do have gender dysphoria. Maybe they are suffering. Maybe there is some things here. But why does there need to be a custody battle? Why? Why can't they both parent the child? Because custody battles can become insane. You're not thinking of the child, people. The child. It's not about you. It's about the child. I don't know what's wrong with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, we got to make it about the children. I don't care if you transition, my friend, go ahead. But your child is more important than that. Thanks for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Your child is more important than you transitioning. So transition, do your thing, have a good relationship with your ex, respect each other in front of the child, and move on. That's what we do. My partner and I, her ex is the biological father to our kid. We share the child. Me and him are like best friends. We hang out all the time. We see each other every Friday for Shabbat. We co-parent as a three-way family. Never once have we fought in front of that child. Never once will we fight in front of that child. When I became her partner, and I said I'd like to meet him because it's important that he stays in our child's life, and he is. He's an amazing father, and he is not one of those gross dudes that bail. But anyways, my point being, me and him became friends. And I said, look, dude, you'll always be his dad. I'm not taking your place. I don't ever want you to think that. I want you to know that I care about this kid, and that me and you together with my new partner, we can make this happen in a way that says that Jonah is number one. Nobody else but Jonah. And by having that adult discussion with each other, we move forward to have a happy family together, and we do everything, so many things together, and there's never any weirdness. He will always be his dad. I will never take his place. And that has become so incredibly like powerful. People are constantly like, wow, how do you do that? I'm like, how we do it, we make him number one. It's not rocket. It's not rocket science. You make the kid number one, people. I don't care if you, whatever's going on with you guys, grow up and be adults about it. But when you start pulling that child in there, you are making a serious, you will give that kid trauma for the rest of their life that now you're going to have to deal with. And that's not, I'm not cool with that. I'll be honest with you. That's just that's my 2 cents. Grow up and don't do that stuff. So, so anyway, that said, I think we kind of got off topic today about the genocide stuff. And um, it's just a heavy topic. And, I said I was only going to be on here for a half hour, but here we are because I'm so talky, but my mouth is actually kind of bothering me. I'm going to go to the dentist tomorrow and have a checkup. And I think that I'm doing really well, just so you know. And I think eventually I'll be able to show you my mouth again with my new teeth. It's horrifying. Like the kids think it's hilarious. They all came over yesterday. They're like, "Hey, Buck, let us see your teeth." They just think it's like the coolest thing ever. So, I get the love from the kids, which is totally awesome. Um, so with that, I just want to leave you all with some love, and I want to reassure you that I believe the more we start to speak out, and the more we push back on this idea that you can censor us, and no matter what these platforms think, they can't censor us. They can't. We'll find another way to speak out. And I live in the United States of America. I don't know where you all live, but I live in the United States of America, and I live here for a reason. I've lived in other countries. I've traveled the world, and I will always come back here because for me, freedom of speech is such a powerful, huge way to live. And I walk the world as a free human. I can think on my own. I don't have to ask permission for you to tell me I can. And that's what I want you to know, why it's so important when you side with censorship, you are un-American and move to another country. I'm not kidding. So, oh, thanks, Fran. I'll take this one more and then we'll go here. Thank you, Fran. Thank you, Naya. I think that's how you pronounce it. As currently serving combat veteran, I had to first deal with the issues of PTSD, and then I saw multiple therapists before I was able to transition while serving. Thank you. Thank you so much. Important to leave you all with that. And thank you so much. I know some people don't like that. Thank you for your service, but I'm going to say it anyway. Coming from a family of military people, I just want to thank you. And I want the world to start to understand, especially this country, that we cannot forget vets. They put themselves out there for us and for our freedom, whether you like more or not. We need to have a military. And so when we start to treat the people who come home like garbage, and oh my God, I live in LA and we have a vet here at a Veterans Association in Westwood that is in like people in tents. What? No vet should ever be homeless, ever. So what is happening? It's just shocking to me that we don't even think about that or have those conversations. And it's sad and it's horrible. And so with that, I really want to send love to all the people out there who've served this country and continue to serve this country, and to put yourself out there so that me and you can have these conversations. So I hope you all have an awesome rest of your day, and that you need to go to the dentist, go, don't wait. I'm telling you, don't wait, please. And that take care of your health. It's very, very important. And speak out and push back. And you don't have to agree with everybody. You live in a country, I hope, that says that you can't, and you can do and say whatever you want. Don't let people gaslight you. Don't let people tell you you're a bad person. Don't let people, just know who you are. And that's all you need to put out in the world. And it will all come back to you. See y'all in the next one, okay? And thanks again for joining me. I always totally appreciate you guys a lot. It means a lot to me to have these conversations. So with that, right on. Peace. Talk to you later. And then